Are the recruiting tables starting to turn?
In a world full of podcasts, he's the undisputed heavyweight champion of hot takes, an Auburn sports homer, master of the boog, and message board legend. Get your buttons buttoned and your hats flattened because the Top Button Podcast is about to kick off. And you don't want to miss your courtside seat. Now, here's your host, Charlie Five.
Yes, sir. We're back. It's another episode of the Top Button Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Rush, a.k.a. Charlie Five, and we're ready to get after it. Are the recruiting tables starting to turn a little bit? Auburn has what I would consider a surprise visitor coming back in town this evening. Going to stay a few days. We're going to talk about that. Auburn lands their first 2027 commit, and it's a good one. It's a really, really good one. And do we think things are starting to pick up steam, and why could that be? We'll talk about that as well. But before we get started, let's give a quick shout out to MyBookie.ag. Use coupon code BARN, B-A-R-N, for a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Give them $100. They're going to give you $50 back in free play to take to the casino, to take to the sports book. Bet any way you like. If there's a particular way you like to bet, more than likely MyBookie has it. Easy deposits, easy withdrawals. It's MyBookie.ag. Well. Auburn gets some news from On3's Steve Wiltfong yesterday that Landon Duckworth may be circling the wagons and headed back to the Plains. He eliminated everyone except for Auburn and, no surprise, South Carolina, who's been the perceived leader probably going into this visit. Still a little bit in the lead with a decision sort of upcoming. I don't know exactly the date that is set, but he's coming back to Auburn. I think that's a very, very big deal. If you remember when he left, I don't think there was really any interviews. And as soon as he left, you started getting predictions to South Carolina. You started getting the feeling that it just wasn't going to work in Auburn. I've talked about this since the beginning of this cycle, that this 2026 quarterback was going to be tricky. There's just, in this day and age, man, it's just, especially quarterbacks, it's really, really tough to stack position groups when only one guy can go out on the field at a time. It's really, really tough. And I always thought this was going to be an obstacle for Auburn to overcome this season. And from the people I talked to, at least up until yesterday, or maybe I don't know exactly how long the conversation is going. I'm sure they didn't just on a whim decide yesterday they were going to change things up. But up until just recently, Auburn has had a sort of a value in mind that they were willing to, put on a quarterback in this particular class because, I hate to say it, but it's reality. What are the odds if everything plays out correctly and Deuce is who we think he is? What are the odds the 2027 quarterback is on the roster in 3 years? In 2 years? It's just it's tough. So you have an idea in mind of a value that you want, and the quarterbacks that you singled out that may fit that value you're finding that what they're getting out in the marketplace is far exceeding what you had in mind that you're willing to pay. But you know what? Sometimes you got to punt. Sometimes you got to go back to the drawing board. Sometimes when the situation shows itself, when things don't play out like you think, you got to make an audible. And I'm using a lot of football lingo here. Some of it's on purpose, some of it's not. But you got to go back to the drawing board and reassess what your goals are and what those values are now. That honestly could change day to day depending on who else you get. It's a huge piece of a puzzle. And Auburn right now, from a perception standpoint, seems like things are a little bit slow. Seems like it's hard for them to get some guys on board. Maybe some big name guys that you had penciled in to receive big paydays seem like they're trending elsewhere. So what does that do? Maybe that's freeing up a little bit to say, hey, you know what? Landon Duckworth is a dadgum stud. Forget 2027 right now. Right now, let's see if we can get this kid switched over. Let's see if we can get this kid headed to Auburn. Let's see if we can take the value that maybe we've saved elsewhere or just our plans change in general. And let's see what we can do with this kid. Let's see if we can get this kid in the boat and then watch the snowball from there. Because look, Landon Duckworth's the number 6 quarterback in the country. Okay? Like, it's not like he is just some bum, like some random dude out there. I mean, you're talking about a top 100 player. One of the top players in the state of Alabama. You're talking about a really, really good quarterback. Again, not just some filler, not some scrub, the number 4 player in the state of Alabama, who's got a lot of pull, who would send some shockwaves through the recruiting world, who would make headlines on top of being a really good player. I can see all of the arguments why you maybe decide to change course and push really hard on this kid. Now, does him coming mean it's all Auburn? It absolutely doesn't. But what it does show to me is some conversation was had between when he came on his visit to today that was like, okay, maybe I need to go check this out again. I had my mind kind of made up when I left. This wasn't going to work. Something has changed. And your guess is as good as mine. I think more than likely some of the scenarios I've just suggested, one of those probably fits the bill as far as what led him to decide to come back to visit. It could just be an exploratory. It could just be let me go check it out one more time. Let me just go make sure that they're going to stick with their value on a quarterback. Or it could be Auburn initiating it. Say, hey, man, look, things have changed. Let's rock and roll. Regardless, you got a kid coming in for the second visit in like 2 or 3 weeks, scored over 50 touchdowns last year, had over 4,000 total yards from scrimmage. He's a damn good basketball player as well, and he is a track star. And on top of all that, he's 6'3", 200 pounds. And he's probably going to go win another state championship this year. I guess that'd be probably a three-peat. I guess it'd be going for a three-peat. I know they won a state championship in basketball too. So, I mean, you're just talking about, and no telling how many state championships in track they've won, especially for different events. Makes sense. Makes total sense. If you need a shot in the arm, if you need to pump up a little electricity, other kids really care about quarterbacks and where they go. Other kids really care about their quarterback in their class. What kind of chain reaction could set off if you could flip it? I say flip. He's basically a South Carolina commit. I mean, let's just be honest. He's basically been a South Carolina commit, so it's just not public. Could you flip it? Could you flip it and get him headed towards Auburn? He's coming in today. I'm not sure exactly how long he'll be here. Definitely, you would think at least one night should things go well. I think Steve Wiltfong said on into the weekend. So I guess that's maybe leave Saturday, something like that. But you couple that in with, a few more of the big visitors that you have coming, and man, you got something cooking. So let's see what happens. I think it's going to be interesting. And I think if you get him, I know Auburn has big plans for the 2027 quarterback. And again, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, but I'll be interested to see down the road how that shakes out now if Auburn were to get this kid. So Landon Duckworth coming back for more, coming back for seconds. Can Auburn edge out South Carolina and go ahead and win this one? We'll see what happens, and we'll discuss. And if you subscribe to thebarnauburn.com, we'll keep you updated on how that goes. But before we talk about our first 2027 commit, let's give a quick shout out to me. If you need a good real estate agent, you can hit me up on Twitter. You can hit me up on Instagram. You can email me at the Key Agency, KRush at thekeyagency.realestate. If you're looking to invest in Auburn, if you're looking to move to the area or surrounding areas, I'm your guy. Whether you want to buy, build, or sell, I've worked with a ton of realtors, a ton of builders. So I'm your guy. So if you want me, if you need some help with your family moving to the area, I'd love to help. We'll be back right after this. Like everybody else, I guess it was Monday? Yeah, Monday, whenever you had Eric Perry commit, and we talked about it I talked about it on the show on Monday, that be on the lookout for Eric Perry to commit. Kind of like, I think everybody, when you saw the second commit come in, you were like, oh, baby, we're about to go on a roll. We're about to go on a little run here. And at least at first, until you really looked into who it was, when you saw it was a 2027 guy, you were like, oh, it's just a 2027 guy. But not only is it just a 2027 guy, it just so happens to be a top 10 player in the state next year, a high 4-star ranked kid, and a kid from Mobile. And on top of everything, a kid that is a player, Jaylen Scott from Williamson High School in Mobile. Man, anytime you can get a kid from Mobile, you're fired up. It's been it's been tough for Hugh to get back in the good graces of all those Mobile schools, Baldwin County schools, and he's done it in a pretty quick manner. He's been able to sort of flip that script really, really fast. So Jaylen Scott commits, 2027 guy. I know most people are like, kind of roll your eyes a little bit, or maybe it's kind of hard to get super fired up with the way things are and how many kids flipped. I mean, Jaylen flipped. He just flipped from Florida State to Auburn. So it's easy to see why you might not get just super duper fired up. But I mean, you look at guys like Hezekiah Harris, you look at guys like Jermichael Garrett, you look at guys like Shadarius Tootle. All of those guys committed this time last year, for the 2026 class. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that if Auburn really wants this kid, and this kid's high on Auburn's 2027 board, that you can get him in and sort of lock him down and have him sort of be the focal point of the class. Get out there and start recruiting. I think he said that. He's anxious to get out there and start recruiting, and he's probably talking to one of his teammates right now, which we'll talk about in just a second. But yeah, your first commit of the 2027 class. It's kind of crazy how life works now. This recruiting is in overdrive, man. Overdrive, and why not? With everything that's going on, signing days getting earlier, rev share deals that you can sign, agreements and whatnot, negotiations now that you can have directly with the school. Why not? If you feel good about a place, go ahead and get your spot. Go ahead and save your spot. So it's good to have that kid in the class. If you're going to continue to make Alabama a priority, I mean, if you can get a top 10 player in the state who is across the board, a top 200 player almost on every ranking site, like really good player, why not? Why not go ahead and get him? And he has a really, really talented teammate who, at a position that I believe Auburn's going to be very interested in, and that's his buddy Ellis McGaskin, linebacker from Williamson, 6 foot 210. Again, basically a 4-star across the board, another stud. Why not? another top 10 player in the state of Alabama. Go ahead and lock down 2 of those for next year. I don't know the timetable of Ellis. I don't know if he's in the close to the decision-making process, but you get one buddy, try to go get the other, and they just so happen to both be really, really good players. The state of Alabama, the rankings are they've got them ranked right now. The state of Alabama is really deep. I mean, you got right off the bat, you got 3 top 100 players, which is for a state with the size of Alabama is pretty incredible. But overall, everybody inside the top 10 is a top 200 player in the country. That's wild. That's wild. You have Jaylen Scott that's committed to Auburn. You have Cam Pritchett from Thompson, who is a stud, who's committed to Oregon for now. I don't think Alabama or Auburn will give up on that one. Even though Oregon, once they kind of figure out they want somebody, they can sink their hooks in, and it's tough to get them. But yeah, state of Alabama is going to be loaded again next year. Why not go ahead and get the jump on it? I'm sorry, you had Jabarius Guerra, who's committed to Alabama. So you got 3 out of the top 10 already committed. So go ahead and get that roll on for 2027 and get things moving. Could things be starting to pick up steam? Obviously, you got the news of Landon Duckworth. There's been a couple of other names thrown out there, possibly Auburn going on a little, maybe go on a little run. You heard Alan Head talk about the fact that he expects Auburn to be somewhere in the neighborhood of double digit, maybe almost double your commits from now up until kick. I mean, that would be, like we said, that'd be close to, that's what? You got all of July, all of August. That's 8. You're roughly 10 weeks away. So you're talking about just about a commit a week. If you double your commits from now until kickoff, could the NIL, I'm going to say resolution in quotation marks, because it's not over, just like you heard us talk about. It's not all the way over, but at least could the clarity on where the money comes from, the clarity around that, could that help Auburn sort of go on a little run? Again, transparency has always been big for Auburn and how they execute these deals. And they've been patient. Let's don't get out over our skis. Let's don't promise things that we don't 1,000% know we can deliver. Don't want to get in the headlines for saying, hey, we said we were going to do, they said they were going to do this, and then they didn't. Could Auburn be about to pick up some steam? I think so. I really do. I don't think anybody wants to waste anybody's time. This Landon Duckworth thing, man, I got my eye on it this weekend. Let's just say that. I don't know 100% know what's going to go down. I don't 100% know he's going to be added to the class. I don't 100% know that things will all the way work out. But it feels like something's there. It feels like the train's starting to crank up a little bit. Now, if you can get it cranked up a little bit and then go to Waco and wear them boys out, start off 3-0, look out. The train could get out of control if you could keep some of that momentum, man. I'm getting excited every day as the season creeps closer. We talked about having 3 first-round picks yesterday, possibly projected. The offense as a whole, man, if they can be better, you're going to win a lot of football games. So we'll see what happens. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the incoming visitor. Let me know what you think about Landon Duckworth. Are you excited over 2027 commits? I know it's tough, but I get excited over any commit. Dadgummit. I'm going to do it no matter what. And you can't talk me out of it. Guys, I really appreciate you for listening. Definitely don't forget to check out mybookie.ag and take advantage of that coupon code, that 50% deposit bonus. And we'll be back again soon. It's another episode of the Top Button Podcast. Stay buttoned.
Thanks for listening, and drive home safely.